Shreesha watches from behind the tree as the robed creature rises up into the air. She speaks aloud to herself. Ah, so you're not a mind flayer, are you? Mind flayers don't fly. What are you then? The creature extends both hands as white-hot sparks burst on the ground next to the gnolls.
Ouch! We just had to take a leave. Yeah, we won't do it again. Please don't kill us. I told you we should ask. Well, I didn't know. What do you want me to say? It's too late now, obviously.
As this comical scene unfolds, she almost feels sorry for the little gnolls. They have no clue that the sparks are only illusions. It appears they are most certain that they are going to die. She can't help but laugh. Prestidigitation works every time. The creature points toward the town. Gnolls uncover their eyes. They look back and seem confused. After a beat, they drop their weapons on the old dirt road and set down all of their gear. Dejected, they both turn and walk back in the direction they came. As she watches them depart, it dawns on her. You bully. You're banishing them, aren't you? Even though the Alhoon pointed towards the town, these gnolls here will not be able to get into the town because of the ward. So these two characters are going to ride off into the sunset, as they say, and maybe we'll catch up with them later. Meanwhile, the Alhoon took a action for casting Prestidigitation and also movement for flying up into the air. So that takes care of him for the second round. So we will now go back to Shreesha. So Shreesha is just going to continue, use a partial move to get all the way behind the tree. We'll just say she's closer to the tree there. And when she looks around, she's going to wait until that guy lands before she tries to move any further. So that's going to be all she's going to do this round. As she's sitting there contemplating all of her prepared spells, she realizes that at some point she may have to use her conjure elemental spell, which has 90-foot range, I believe, which is good because that's going to give her 18 inches basically. So anywhere in this area like that, she can conjure an elemental, probably an earth elemental. And then a thought crosses her mind. Maybe an air elemental would be better, since this thing can fly. And now moving on to these guys, they just had a front row seat for everything that was happening with the Alhoon and the gnolls. They're probably a little nervous right now, but nevertheless they're going to hold their positions, which is obviously following their orders. And these gnolls, we'll just do a switcheroo here just to keep things realistic as these guys move around and carry these stones and start building this wall, just so their positions change just in case anything happens. And that should do it for the second round. And starting round number 3, let's determine if this guy's gonna land. It's probably highly likely that he will land. So we'll do 3 yes dice against 1 no dice. High dice wins. Does the Alhoon land? Oh, I forgot to roll my tiebreaker. No, he does not. So he stays up in the air. Wait a minute. I did that wrong. He does land. There's a 6. I didn't see the 6. All right, so back down on terra firma. We can move to these gnolls, and they move another 30 feet. That's going to be 6 inches. Okay, so Shreesha is going to, as she looks around this tree, she's going to try to misty step right into that space behind the cart. Now that's going to cost her another second level spell slot. which she has, but it's also going to mean there's a silvery mist that happens right before you teleport. So we'll have to roll and see if the Alhoon notices that, recognizes that, and so we'll have to make up a function for that since we don't have a DM. As you can see, when she arrives at this point, the cart will completely block her view to the Alhoon and vice versa. And finally, when she casts this spell, she will drop her invisibility, because that happens when you cast a spell or make an attack. And then so she's going to do it. She's going to cast a spell. She'll be right here. Carefully picks her spot. The invisibility drops, but she has one more second level spell that she can use to recast it before she crosses the road. Okay, so I'd like to put a little extra detail in this just to see what happens. I want to decide, I want the fate dice to decide which way the Alhoon is looking. I think it's unlikely he'd be looking this way, but it might be highly likely he's looking this way, watching these gnolls exit the area. Is his line of vision following the gnolls? Highly likely. No. So it's highly likely then, since he wasn't looking that way, that he's looking in this direction, which means he may have noticed. So let's first ask, is the Alhoon looking in Shreesha's direction when she made her jump? Yes, it is. All right, so that's going to make his perception check maybe even advantage. Got to think about that. All right, so some things to consider here are, it helps the Alhoon that he's looking in the right direction. It hurts Shreesha that her teleport spell has, the Misty Step has a shimmering fog or whatever. He's got a +7 to his perception. You know, the DM could award him advantage for this check. To take my personal bias out of it, since we have no DM and since we've been using the fate dice, let's let the fate dice decide for us. Does the DM in this situation go ahead and award advantage to the Alhoon to make this check? I'm gonna not stack the probability either way. No, he does not. And the final question becomes, would our missing DM set the difficulty class at 15 medium or 20 hard? Let's ask the easier one first. Does the DM set the difficulty, the DC, at 15? Yes, he does. All right, so here we go. +7 on a perception check by the Alhoon. Oh, he got it. He saw her. Unfortunately for Shreesha, that would have even cleared a 20. So we all know what Shreesha does not. And that is that she's been seen. What happens next is going to depend on how the Alhoon plays this. And we will get the answer to that in part 12.